So part two, you're getting a new puppy from us. What do you do when you get them home? So we've gone over the schedule, we've gone over potty training, we've gone over hand feeding and tether training. I wanted to talk a little bit more about the puppy earning everything. So they have to earn food, they have to earn our affection, they have to earn freedom. Freedom in the home, and our ability to trust them. So our setup right now when you first get your puppy home is going to be a playpen with a litter box, so they have access to the litter box at all times. Remember, they're going to the bathroom every 30 minutes when they are awake, so they really need access to that litter box, or you have to be consistently taking them outside every 30 minutes. And then they have a crate for their naps. So these puppies are going to have playtime, and during their playtime, either you are 100% supervision, so you can take the puppy out of the playpen and play with them, with your family, with your kids, with your other dogs, whatever it is, but you have to have your focus 100% on the dog if you're going to do this. I encourage you to close all the doors of the house. You know, if you have you don't want to allow the puppies to go and be in different rooms if they don't know the house yet, and you want them to have access to the litter box. So what we would do is take the litter box out of the playpen so they could see where it's at. Like, let's say you pick the living room, close all the bedrooms and bathroom doors, and have them in this nice big open space where they can play, but that you could see them at all times, so you could make a correction if they decide to try to go potty somewhere where they're not supposed to, or they try to chew on the leg of the couch and they're not supposed to, or chew on wires, or maybe play too rough with their siblings, or nip at your kids. You could make that correction. You should be right there to be able to catch it in the moment and say, because any puppy that is coming home from us is going to understand at least two things. That's going to be yes, that means you're doing something good. So when they're doing good behaviors, or they're in a new environment and you want to reassure them that they are doing the right thing, or give them that confidence, you could say yes, yes. So I do that a lot. Like, for example, yesterday was 4th of July, and we took out one of our older dogs that I know was going to be comfortable with fireworks because he's totally fine with them, but he hasn't seen them face to face, like right in front of him at the park viewing the fireworks. That was his first time, and I just kept saying yes, yes, Potato, because I wanted him to know that he was calm and sitting and relaxing, and that's all I wanted him to do. So I was encouraging that behavior. So you could use yes, and you could say and stop the behavior immediately in its tracks. So that's going to be something really important that you're going to do during playtime. So playtime is 100% supervised at this point. So during their wake up times, you could either have playtime in the living room where you can watch them and no access to other rooms and litter boxes available, or you could have them tethered to you. If you can't just sit there and watch them, you tie them to you, one part on the dog, one part attached to your waist, or they sell the leashes now that go around your waist. I'll actually link one in the TikTok shop that we use. It's nice because it has a little pouch where you can put the food in as well and reward them while you have the dog tethered to you. So those are two options, and actual active training that you can be doing during playtime. When they are done with that, make sure that you put them back. When you are not supervising the dog, or you cannot have focus on the dog, you make sure to put them back in their playpen. Okay, so that's the biggest things that we're going to be doing. Let's talk about rules and boundaries. A couple of really strict rules that we're strict with in our household and when we're caring for your puppies, and we encourage you to continue for many reasons, is no rough play. There's absolutely no rough play. So if you have other dogs, your dog is going to have doggy siblings, even though they're puppies, we don't allow that intensity of playing when they're wrestling to turn into growling, barking. We don't allow intense play. They could wrestle, they could run, they could even bite each other a little bit, but anytime it turns into growling, barking, or you just see that the wrestling is getting too intense, that could turn into dominance behavior in the future. We go and stop it. If you need to go more intense because the dogs are at higher intensity, you could say so you have to match their intensity to get them to stop. If that doesn't work, you pick them up and you separate them. Okay, so that's how you teach them. Same thing with your kids. If they're nipping or biting at you, same thing. You interrupt the behavior with a and you do not allow them ever teeth on humans in any shape or form. I don't care how soft it is not allowed. And our puppies, especially if they stayed with us for puppy boot camp, should not be nipping, and they are not nipping at this point. And if you allow that behavior to start when they go home, it could become a problem long term. Other rules that we encourage are sitting and waiting for food patiently. So we ask for a sit before we put the plate of food down when you are feeding them from a bowl. Asking them to sit and let you exit and enter through doorways. So if you're leaving or entering the house, you ask the dog to sit, you walk out first. Ask them to stay. If they try to get through the door first, you say, and hold the space, and then you allow them to exit after you've exited. So they have to start a walk as in that follower type of mentality, not leading you. Basically, everything that the puppy should be doing, they should be looking at you and asking permission for. I know this sounds like very militaristic, strict lifestyle, but dogs thrive with good, calm, consistent leaders. They look to you for leadership. It's what dogs have been bred to do for thousands of years, and we have to be calm, consistent, and fair leaders, but they do thrive better. In fact, when you ask your dog to be the leader because you're not taking up that leadership role and you communicate that to them, they actually live more stressed and anxiety filled lives, and you don't want that. A dog that is in the leadership or feels like they need to fulfill that leadership role does not understand the human world, and they live in a constant state of stress and anxiety. So do you and your dog a favor and fill that leadership role. And they'll constantly be looking at you for, is this okay to do, mom? And you'll let them know yes, or let them know and you're very clear and consistent with those rules. So whether you allow them or not allow them on the couch, that's fine as long as you're completely consistent. Barking, we don't allow barking to other dogs, to people passing by, to people knocking on the door. It's even when they growl, even when they're looking too intensely, when they're like really alert. Some dogs get really alert and they're just like looking almost like a police dog or a security dog on alert. The next step is going to be to start barking and to start become reactive. You want to catch that early on. One thing that I quickly do want to mention that's really important is that around 6-7 months, dogs do enter a teenage stage. And during the teenage stage, just like human teenagers, they start to push boundaries and test you and see what they could get away with. So it is normal that during teenage stage, it feels like you're taking a few steps back around 6 to 7 months. They might even start regressing in a lot of their training and their leash walking and their potty training, maybe even dominance type behaviors. They'll try to push you around a little bit. It's really important for you to become more firm and hold those boundaries, and it is going to be okay for you to take a step back. Let's say they've earned certain freedoms that you feel like, okay, I can leave the dog 10 minutes, 20 minutes, 30 minutes around the house because they've slowly earned that without me having to be like a hawk watching them, because I know that they won't go to the bathroom. But if they start doing that, then guess what? We have to treat them and go back to the schedule that when they were 8 weeks old, when they first got home, where you had to watch them like a hawk, or they had to be tether trained, or they had to be in the playpen. So it's okay to pull back those freedoms, especially at the teenage stage. It's totally normal, and most dogs do go through that stage. But if you hold those boundaries, they will respect you more. Your bond will become stronger with your dog, and you're going to have a longer, more beautiful life with your dog. Of course, if you have any questions, I'm always here for lifetime support. We also continue to offer Zoom training sessions if that's something that you ever feel like you needed that additional support, but I'm always here to answer questions.